Pero ya no quería, pero modo, Dios sabe cómo me lleva. Sí, yo estaba planificando. Sí, sí, hacer la decisión. Y ya me
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. Hope everybody's having a good day today so far. So I want to start the class by reviewing our last topic or talking about what our last class was about. And this is a topic that we have talked about 2 classes already. We were focusing on the verb to be, the WH questions, right? And we were focusing also on demonstrative pronouns. That's what the last class was about, the video that you had on YouTube. I know some of you had some issues watching it, but hopefully you were able to fix the problems by now. I tried to share the link with everybody so that you were able to watch the explanation, the grammar, because that was the most of the class was about. Going further into the explanation of demonstrative pronouns, how they are used, that we have singulars and plurals, that we use them to talk about things that are near or far away from us. Now that that topic is clear, I want us to move on to the next topic, and the topic that is very and closely related to demonstrative pronouns, which is singular and plural nouns. I know probably this is something that, again, you have very clear or that you don't have any issues with, but from time to time, it's always good to go back to the topics that we have already studied or that we already know, just to keep refreshing the information that we have gathered. As I said, all of these grammatical structures and all of these vocabulary, because that's how we gain vocabulary as well. It's on the English ID book on lesson 1.3. Last class, we were working on also personal objects. Remember that we had a picture on the book with several items gathered around or presented on the picture. It was a backpack, there were earrings, keys, and a laptop, lipstick, glasses. So there were so many things, vocabulary words on that particular picture. And then we were listening also to a conversation about a woman on a plane, and how she was saying that a passenger had given her a pair of earrings, and another passenger was saying the same thing, and that was the listening about. But now I want to, as I said, I want to focus on nouns, singular and plural. Can anybody tell me, or does anybody remember what a noun is? Do you know what a noun
Name.
is? Sorry, go ahead.
Name in English?
Yes, excellent. Yeah, that can be considered a noun, right? When you name a name like your names, like Fernanda, Jose, Naomi, all of those are considered nouns, right? Nouns can be divided into many different categories. Right now, in this particular class, we are going to be focusing on the two major ones, which is singular and plural. But if you go further into studying nouns, you will know that the same as in the language, in the Spanish language, you have proper and common, concrete and abstract. You have many different categories to all kinds of nouns. But as I said, today we are going to be focusing on the most general ones.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning. We are going to be focusing mostly into the most general categories, which are singular and plural. And in the English language, there are several rules on how to make a singular noun a plural, right? What kind of rules you use to make a singular one, turn it into a plural noun. And that's what I want to focus on. As I said, all of these, you can go ahead and look at your book on page 10 and 11. But these exercises, we already work on them. We were just missing the grammar part of it. So that's why I want to share with you. I'm going to be sharing in just a second my screen for you to be able to read all of these grammar rules on how to make plural nouns, because I think that's the identifying a noun. I think you don't have issues with. Sometimes what the issue starts when we want to turn them into plural. So hopefully you can see my screen right now. I have a PowerPoint for you. I try to use as many images and clear examples as I could. So if at any point in the explanation you have any questions, please don't hesitate and raise your hand and ask your question, okay? So we have here singular and plural nouns. So we have that a noun is, as you were saying, guys, is the name of a person, a place, or a thing. Can be, you know, you can be naming a thing, for example, table, chair, phone, or you can name animals like dogs, cats. All of those are considered nouns, right? So you're going to have any type of word that names a place, a person, or a thing is going to be considered a noun. Then we have, these are examples. You have in here in the pictures, you have a car, you have an alarm clock, a ball, a book, a brush, a leaf, a shoe or a boot, and all of these are considered nouns. Then we have that if you see, I want you to pay attention on how the words are written, or how each of the nouns it's being placed. You have shoe, leaf, ball, story, car, clock, and brush. So if you see, none of these nouns or none of these words is in plural. All of them, they are in the singular form. How can we know? And we are going to be sure of it later on in the explanation, but just notice that neither of these words has an S, right? Or has made pluralized. You can see this by the picture, but also with the word. So far, any questions, guys, or any doubts? Okay, let's move on to the next one. So now can be more than one. So in the first set of examples, all of the examples were singular, just one. You had a shoe, you had a car, a brush, an alarm clock, all of them were singular. But we know that plurals can be more than one, sorry, nouns can be more than one, and we call them plural, right? So in this particular slide, you have the example of how to make them plural. You have monkeys, you have balloons, but here it is for you to see it clearly. So we have brushes, monkeys, balloons, cups, and doors. What do all of these words have in common? They are plural, right? They are naming something, they are naming a noun that's plural. And that's why we have the S. If you notice, monkeys, brushes, doors, balloons, and cups, all of them, they have an S. That when we're using nouns, most of the times, because it's not always, but most of the time, what it means is that we have plurals. Now we move on to how to make them plural. To create a plural, to turn a noun from singular to plural, what we do is to add an S. We have shoe, shoes, ball, balls, car, cars. And if you see, there's not a specific number, because if you want to be more specific on the plural, then you say 10 shoes or 100 balls or 200 cars. But either you want to be general or specific into the plural, you're always going to have an S that is giving you the clue that you're talking about more than one thing. Then you have clock and clocks, a spoon, and then we have spoons, cup and cups. So far, any questions? Notice how all of these words, the only thing that we did to make them plural is to add an S, nothing else, nothing more. Then we have to match them. What can anybody find the plural for, sorry, the singular for cups? What would be?
Cup.
Excellent. What would be the plural for bowl?
Balls.
Balls.
Excellent. What about cars? What would be the singular?
Car.
Perfect, everyone. What about spoon? What would be the plural of spoon?
Spoons.
Excellent, guys. And what about door? What would be the plural for door?
Doors.
Perfect. And we have the last one, which are right next to each other. We have clock and clocks, right? This is for you to notice how if you want to identify the plural, you always, or most of the time, like 99% of the time, what you have to look for is the S. So far, any questions or any doubts? No? Okay, so now it gets a little bit, I don't want to say complicated, but it gets a little bit more tricky. You have to pay attention to these particular words. There are some words in English that adding an S is not enough. What you have to do is to add an E and an S to make them plural. And these type of words are the ones that finished or end in SH, CH, S, or X. So keep in mind that if a word ends in SH, CH, S, and X, it will be a mistake just to write an S to make them plural. What you have to do is to add an E and an S. And you have the example. You don't say boxes just by adding an S, you have to add the ES. So in the singular form, you have box. In the plural, you have boxes. A brush, brushes, fish, and fishes. So notice how in these particular examples, we have a word that ends in an X, like box. We have a word that, two words that end in SH, and what we have done to make them plural is to add ES. So keep in mind, we have 4 type of words that if they end in SH, CH, S, and X, we always have to add ES to make them plural. Now, there are more examples in here. So what would be the plural for fish?
Fishes.
Excellent. What would be the singular form of brushes?
Brush.
Perfect. What would be the plural form of fox?
Foxes.
Perfect. Foxes. What about the plural form of bunch?
Bunches.
Bunches. Excellent. What about the plural form of box?
Foxes.
Perfect. And the last one we have, what would be the singular form of glasses?
Glass.
Glass. So keep in mind all of these examples that you have here in this particular slide, you have all of them and in one of the 4 forms that we talked about in the previous slide, right? If you have SH, if you have CH, if you have X or S, then you're going to add ES to make them plural, right? In this case, we have CH, bunch, and then because it ends in CH, we use ES. Now, what do we do with the words that end in a Y when what we do is that we change the Y for an I and we add IES, right? In this case, we need to do a little bit more because we're changing a letter and we adding two more to make them plural. If but you have to keep in mind that if there is a vowel before the Y, then just the S is other. Okay, so only the words that end in a Y that have a consonant before the Y. If you have a vowel before the Y, then you don't need to change anything. You just add the S like a regular noun. And we have examples. Bunny. Do we have to change it? What do you think? Bunny.
Yes.
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 Why do I
Yes,
have
teacher.
Yes, because we don't have a vowel before the Y, right? We have a consonant. So that's why we need to change it. Excellent, guys. And we have bunnies. What about pony? Do I have to change it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
exactly, right? Because we have a consonant and not a vowel. And we have ponies. What about story? Do I have to change it?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
because
Because he have a consonant.
Perfect. Excellent, guys. And stories. Questions so far? Questions or doubts? No? Okay. What about monkey? Do I have to change monkey?
Yes. No, teacher.
Yeah.
We need to add S.
Just add the S. Why? Because there is a vowel. Monkey. So before the Y, we have an E, a vowel. So we don't need to change it because it's not a consonant, it's a vowel. Excellent. Okay. Don't worry if you still have, are not sure, because remember, this is how we are going to be practicing and that this is how we are going to be learning. So if you're not sure of something, don't worry, we are going to be practicing. Now, I want you to tell me, what is the plural of bunny?
Bunnies.
Bunnies. What is the singular of toys?
Toy.
Toy.
And what about the singular for pony?
Ponies.
Ponies. And what is the plural of boy?
Boys.
Boys. What about monkey? What is the plural?
Monkeys.
Excellent. And what is the plural for story?
Stories.
Stories. Perfect. Okay. So in here, in this particular example, we have more examples on words that end with a Y that we don't have to change the Y. For example, if you take a look at the word toys, we don't change it because we have a vowel before the Y. So remember, if we have a vowel before the Y, we don't need to change it. Another example of that is boy. Because boy, we have the Y in a vowel, we don't need to change it, okay? Just keep that in mind. Any questions or any doubts so far, guys?
No, teacher.
No? Okay, great. So now we have different kinds of plural nouns. And as I said, this is not that it's difficult, but it's just something that you need to keep practicing and practicing to remember. What are these? Well, these type of plurals, most of the time, you're going to have a different word in the plural form, or it's going to change significantly, okay? It's not going to be just adding an S and that will be it, or adding ES. In this case, the word most likely is going to change significantly. For example, we have child in the singular form, and in the plural form, we say children. We don't say childs, okay? If we want to talk about many kids, what we do is we say children, right? Then we have man. Who knows what the plural of men is? A man?
Gentlemen.
That's another way. Well, gentleman is another type of noun, but yeah, you can say gentleman and gentlemen, but that's just the S.
Men's.
Yeah, you have man with an A is singular, and with an E is plural. Same with woman and women. Hopefully it's going to be here. For example, teeth. What is the plural of, I already said it. So we have the singular is tooth and the plural is teeth. Who knows the plural of foot? Do you know the plural?
Feet.
Excellent, very good. Feet. This one is very similar to teeth, right? You have double O, double E. Now our next one is woman, which I said, which I mentioned previously. You say woman for a singular and then women for plural, which is very similar to men and men, right? Then we have mouse. Do you know what the plural form of mouse is? Does anybody know? It's not mouses. It is mice. So if you want to refer to more than one mouse, then you say mice. And this, there's no grammatical rule to know this, or to know how to turn a singular and plural when they change completely. The only thing that you have to do, which sounds very archaic, but the only thing that you can do is to memorize them, okay? Memorize these nouns that are different from the rest of them, that you don't have to add an S, but that they change drastically or completely into the plural form. Questions so far, guys? Okay, what will be the singular for teeth?
Tooth.
Excellent. What would be the singular for women?
Woman.
What would be,
Woman.
excellent, woman. What would be the singular for men?
Man.
Men. Yeah. What about mice? What would be the singular for mice?
Mouse.
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 What would be the plural for
Mouse.
child?
Children.
Children. Excellent. And what would be the singular for feet?
Foot.
Foot. Excellent. Now that we are here, I want to clarify something. You can refer to a child and you can say kid. You can say, oh, that's my child or that's my kid. Kid can be pluralized just with an S. You can say kid, kids, right? That's a normal noun in the plural form. It's just with child that you need to pay attention to and that you need to change to children, okay? Just to clarify, okay? You can say kid and kids if you prefer to, And then there are some nouns that don't change at all. The previous ones that we just studied, they change completely. These ones that we are going to study right now, there's no difference between singular and plural. They are written in the same way and they are pronounced in the same way. The only difference is that you need to pay attention to the context to know if they are referring to a singular form or a plural form, because they remain the same in singular and in plural. Example, you have sheep and sheep. You have deer, which is the same in singular and in plural. And for example, salmon, which is the same in singular and plural, right? So again, with these words, there's no other way to learn them, but just to memorize them. These words are going to remain the same in plural and in singular. What you need to pay attention to is the context. That's going to give you the idea if they're talking about singular or plural. Now, I want you to tell me, from all of the things that we have studied, what would be the mice? Is it the singular or the plural form?
The plural.
The plural form. Excellent, guys. Very good. And what would be the singular form of it?
Mouse.
Excellent. Perfect. What about teeth? Is that the singular or the plural form?
Plural
The
form.
plural.
Perfect. And what would be the singular form?
Tooth.
Tooth. Perfect. What about kids? Who remembers what I said about kids? What do we have? Kids. The only
Singular.
thing that you have to do is to add the S. Perfect, guys. What about children? Is that the singular or the plural form?
Plural form.
Plural.
Plural form. And what will be the singular form of it?
Shield.
Child.
Child. Excellent. What about, let's talk about sheep. What would be, is that the singular or the plural form? Sheep, right here. Sheep.
Singular.
Singular.
Singular. And what would be the plural?
Sheep.
Excellent. Yeah, the same, right? Remember that with that word, the only thing that we need to pay attention to is the context to know if you're talking about singular or plural. What about donkey? Tell me, do I have to change the Y or not? Who remembers the rule?
We need
Now
to
only
add S.
add S.
Yes, perfect, guys. We just need to add the S because there's a vowel before the Y. Perfect. What about lady? We have it here on this column, the last word, lady. Do I have to change the Y for an I?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Why? Because we have a consonant before the Y. Excellent, guys. Very good. What would be the singular form of foxes?
Fox.
Fox.
Perfect. Very good. Who remembers that rule? What did that rule say? What are the four endings of a word that we need to pay attention to? Words that end in an X. What else? Do you remember? We have four endings of a word that we need to add ES. So words that end in X, words that end in, do you remember?
What
Word-
word is it?
Yes, words that end in X, SH, S, and CH. Those are the four that we need to pay attention to. What about, can anybody tell me what will be the singular, sorry, the plural form of baby?
Babies.
Babies.
Excellent. Do I need to change the Y?
Yes.
Yes, right. I need to change the Y. What about, what will be the plural form of salmon?
Salmon.
Salmon.
Salmon. It remains the same, right? Because it's one of the words that we need to pay attention to context to know if we're talking about plural or singular. So I want to know, are there any questions or any doubts about this particular topic? Guys? Questions or doubts? No? So now I want to practice with a game I'm going to share with you in just a second. We are going to continue practicing, you know, singular and plurals. Yes, go ahead.
How do you say kid in plural?
You just add the S, you just say kids.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to, that one, it's, you know, a regular noun. You don't need to, it's not like child and children. Sometimes you probably are going to see, for example, childs, but that's when we have possessive, okay? Because sometimes plurals and possessive, we have that kind of, because possessive have an S as well. Sometimes we confuse them and we say, oh, we can say childs. And no, it's because it is possessive. You say, for example, your parents say about you, my child's phone or my child's computer. But what they are saying is that something belongs to you, not that you are multiple people. I don't know if I explain myself, but just if you see child with an S, it's most likely or for sure it's going to be because they are taking the form of a possessive, not the plural form. Okay. Somebody else raise their hand. Go ahead.
Teacher, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How can I know when the word doesn't change?
Uh, that's a very, as I said, that is a very old answer. Probably the only way that you can do that is by memorizing them. There's a list of plural forms, just like you have in past, you have regular and irregular forms of the verb, and you know the irregular forms you have to memorize them. The same happens with the plural form of these words. You have to memorize them to always know whether they change or they remain the same. Yeah, that's the only bad thing. Like there's no grammatical rule to know them. It's just memorize them. Dana, you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Teacher, it's nothing to with the class, but I have a tip for you. How language do you think is more difficult to learn, English or Spanish?
I think personally, to me, it's more difficult in the sense of grammar and spelling, Spanish than English, because I think Spanish has a lot of rules and different words that they end with S or with C, and then when you pluralize them, and it to me it's more difficult probably for us, all of us, since it's our native language. We don't see any problem with it, or we think it's not that difficult. but it is. In Spanish or languages like, for example, if you ever have the opportunity, or I don't know if you have ever studied another language besides English, if you have, for example, French, it's very, very difficult. It's similar to Spanish because you have, in English, you don't have words that turn into a feminine form, in a male form. And in Spanish and in French, you have that. You have, for example, la and el. So in English, you don't have that. You always say the book or the desk or the computer. You don't need to make it anything but the word. So I think English, it's way easier. Okay, any other question or any other doubt, guys, that I can help you with? No? Okay, now I have this game. I don't know if you have played it before, but this is, so you see here, this is kind of like a basketball. Well, it's not kind of, it is a basketball game. You're going to be home, and away is the points that the game or that you need to reach in each of the points, right? And you have 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. Each of them shows you an exercise in which you're going to practice some type of vocabulary, some type of noun, some type of grammatical structure. And depending on the points, depending on how you answer, that's the amount of points that you're going to get, right? Let's try with 1 point and we will see. So we have in the picture, you can see there are 2 frogs, right? And the exercise, what you have to do is to complete the missing word, right? You have A, what are these? And in B, you have a missing word and you have 3 choices: it, yes, or they. Which word would you use to complete that particular sentence?
They.
They, exactly. They are frogs.
Nice shot.
And if you see, it gives you point. Since the shot that I choose was only 1, you have 1 point against 21 of the game. Now tell me, which how many points do you want to try next? 3, 2, or 1?
3.
3. Okay, let's see. In this one, we have bees. Something's missing. It's a question, so you have to decide how.
Are these
bees?
Are these bees or what are bees? Are these?
No, are these?
are
Okay.
these
Let's see.
Nice shot.
Excellent. See, you have now 4 against 21. Do you want to try again? 3, 2, or 1?
2.
2? Okay, let's try. Now we have, well, the picture, it has penguins, but the questions, well, it has monkeys and penguins. So how would you complete this question? Is this monkeys? Are these monkeys? What are monkeys? Or is this a monkeys?
Are these monkeys? Are these?
Very good, guys. And we have,
Nice shot.
good. You have reached 6 against 21. Do you want to try another number? 3, 2, or 1?
3.
3. Okay. What are frog? Is frog? Is this? Are this?
What are these?
What are these?
What are these?
What are these?
Okay, perfect, right? And
Nice shot.
you are right. So You have 9. Do you want to try 3, 2, or 1?
3.
Three.
Okay, what are these? They are a bears, birds, or
Birds. Birds.
the third one. Okay, let's see. And you are right.
Nice shot.
You have 12 against 21, and you only have 14 kind of in the time left. Which one do you want to try next?
3 points.
3 points, okay. What are these? Snakes? How would you
Yes, they
answer?
are. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Good. Excellent, guys. Let's see. And
shot.
you have 15 against 21. Let's see if we can reach 21 or more. Do you want to try 3, 2, or 1?
3.
3 again. Okay. Is this? No, it's not. Is
A
this?
frog.
Very good. Let's see. And oh,
That's too bad.
wait, what happened? Oh no, sorry. Did I do it wrong? I think is this I put it incorrectly. Okay, do you want to try?
There's a shark. A shark.
Shark. A shark? Okay, let's try. Let's see. You
Nice
have
shot.
18. Do you want to try 3, 2, or 1? 18,
3.
21. Let's see. Now we have, it's a penguin. What that is? What are these? Is that penguins or what's this? Which one would you?
What's this, maybe?
What this?
Okay, let's try it in. Yes, you are. We only have 6. And
Nice
you-
shot.
Now to finish, to win, because right now you're tied. Do you want to win? Do you want to remain like this? Or do you want to try to 1, 2, or 2 points or 3 points?
2 points.
2
2
points.
points. Okay. What's that? Is it? They are? It is? Or
It is.
they is?
It is.
It is. And you win, right?
Nice shot.
It is a snake. And with that, you win. And with 4 minutes or 4 still in the time. So, guys, that's what I had for the class. I don't know if there are any question, if the topic was clear enough. Were you able to was I able to explain the topic properly? Or do you have any questions, something that we need to review on plurals and singular? Are there any questions, guys, or any doubts?
Teacher, this topic is gonna become to the exam.
It's going to be part of it, but no, we need to, in the next class, we are still going to be kind of reviewing this plus the possessive adjectives. But yes, just to answer your question, yes, it's going to be part of the exam. Yeah. Any other question or any other doubt? Go ahead and ask, guys. Don't be afraid to. If there's anything that wasn't clear. Okay, so just to recap, guys, remember that we have a noun is a word that names a thing, a person, or a thing, right? An animal, a person, or a thing. And they are divided into many different categories. We have proper and common, we have concrete and abstract, but the ones that we need to focus on, or the ones that we talked about today, are singular and plural. And most of the nouns, to turn them into plural, the only thing that we have to do is to add an S. There are some other nouns that do not change at all their form, and they remain the same in singular and plural. Examples are sheep and sheep, then salmon and salmon. What you have to pay attention when using those words is the context, right? To know if they are referring to something singular or to something plural. Then we have the words that end in Y. Most of the words that end in a Y, we are going to change the Y for an I, and we are going to add ES. But if the word before the Y has a vowel, the only thing that we have to do is to add an S. An example of that is boy or toys. The only thing that we do is to add an S. But the ones that we need to change the Y for an I, examples of that will be baby, you say babies. You change the Y for an I and add ES because we have a consonant before the Y. Now, there are other nouns that they change drastically into the plural form, or they are very different from their singular form. And these are, for example, foot and feet, tooth and teeth, child and children. And the only thing that we can do to know them is to memorize them and practice constantly so we don't forget their form in singular and in plural. And the last group of plural nouns that we were talking about were the ones that end in S, X, SH, and CH. These type of nouns, what we do is to add ES to make them plural, okay? So I just wanted to recap what we studied today and what we were practicing. Hopefully everything was clear. If not, we are going to be mixing this or talking about this grammatical structure also and this vocabulary in the next class as well, but we are going to introduce a new vocabulary and a new grammatical structure for next class, for next week, which is going to be talking about possessive, right? And that's when we will see the S used in a different way. So if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to end the class in here. Thank you everyone for participating. I really appreciate your input, and we will see each other in the next class next week. I hope you have an amazing weekend, everyone, and that you're rest and take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take
Bye,
care.
teacher.
Bye. Take care.
Bye,
Everyone.
teacher.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care of yourselves.